There are several Sufi stories. Let's see, when we mix their chemistry together, whether they can bring forth the answer to a question. The first is the story about the man who was a merchant. In today's language, he would be called an entrepreneur. But one day, when he was riding his horse between towns, his horse's hoof got stuck in a hole in the road and tipped him off so that he damaged his ankle very badly. So painfully, he climbed back on his horse again and was able to make his way some distance, where he saw a rather palatial house. So, getting down from his horse and hobbling to the door and knocking on the door was opened by a splendid-looking man, dressed in satin pants, an embroidered waistcoat, and a silken turban. He was welcomed very graciously, and with his own hand the splendidly dressed man dressed the ankle and ran a bath for his guest, prepared a sumptuous meal for him, and made him comfortable for the days that he was there recovering from this injury. But then it was time to take his leave, and thanking the splendid being profusely, who gave him also a parcel of food to take on his way, he took his leave. But as he was walking out to the back of the house to collect his horse that had been taken care of so well, he saw an old man standing in the kitchen doorway, humbly dressed, a long beard, wearing straw sandals. And the merchant thought to himself, what a pitiful old man this is. And then he rode off. But some time later, after more travels, he was passing that way again, and he decided that he would go back and thank again for his hospitality and care. But stopping as he did at a coffee shop to water his horse and have a cup of coffee, and talking to the owner of the coffee shop, he was told that the master of that house had passed away, had died. His loss was very great, because he was revered for his kindness, his hospitality. So, nevertheless, the merchant went to the house to give his condolences, but when he knocked on the door was opened by the splendid being. And he said to him, "Oh, I'm so glad to see you. I was told that you had died." And the splendid being said, "Oh, no, you're referring to my master. When you were here last time, did you see an old man with a long beard, wearing straw sandals? That was our master." And the second story, a reminder of a story, is about this advanced dervish, the advanced seeker after truth, who learned that there was a great Sufi master who knew the most sacred name. So he made the arduous travel to where this Sufi master resided, and presenting himself to him, he asked, could he please be taught the most sacred name, because he had heard that anyone who knew the most sacred name could heal the world, do good works, eradicate evil. And the great Sufi master said to the dervish, "You must pass a test just as my master tested me." The dervish said, "Gladly, what is it that I must do?" And the master said to him, "You must go to the city gates and sit there for the whole day, observing the comings and goings, and report back to me after the sun has set." So the dervish went off to do as he was told. And in the evening, when he came back to the Sufi master asked him, "What was the most significant thing that you saw in sitting by the city gates?" And the dervish said, "Well, an old man came to the gates carrying a load of wood on his shoulders. And when he approached the guards at the gate, he explained to them that he had no money to pay the entrance fee, but begged them to allow him to enter the city so that he could sell his wood, and afterwards he would make payment of the entry fee." But in observing, the guards scolded him. They even beat him. They stole his wood and sent him away. The Sufi master said to the dervish, "What was your thought as you observed this occurrence?" And the dervish said, "I thought to myself, if only I knew the most sacred name, then that event would not have been completed in the way that it was." The Sufi master looked at the dervish and he said, "O man of great possibility, that old man at the gate was my master." So the question that arises as the chemistry of these two stories is taken in: what was the test that the dervish underwent? What was the test? From your experience, has there ever been a time in your life when you've ever said, "If only I had, if only I was, if only I knew"? What is the test that the dervish was given?
To be a master, you have to be a beggar, and have nothing.
Yes.
Just as we don't need to know from someone else, we already know.
Yes.
So we just go with that, rather than waiting for that.
Yes. Is it to recognize we already know, we already are that sacred name? And if we hear ourselves say, if only I had, if only I knew, if only I was. Thank you.